College football does not take a break. Case in point, Austin Armstrong has been hired as the new defensive coordinator for the Florida Gators. Patrick Toney took a job with the Cardinals today. And then Austin Armstrong, who was the inside linebacker coach at Alabama for all of a few weeks, it felt like, is now the new DC at Florida. From a Florida side of things, here's the positives. You got somebody who is an up-and-comer in the sport. He's young, and a lot of people around the industry, around college football, are very excited about him. The second piece is he has some familiarity with Billy Napier. He was at Louisiana the same time Billy Napier was at Louisiana. So there won't be this whole meet and greet and figure each other out and figure out what you want to accomplish defensively. Like, Austin Armstrong knows what Billy Napier wants in a defense, and he's going to be able to help accomplish that on the field. A spot that Florida has some shoring up to do. We'll talk more about that in a second. The bigger takeaway for me, if you're a Florida Gator fan, is you landed somebody that Nick Saban wanted on his staff. I have a general rule of thumb when it comes to college football. If it's good enough for Nick Saban, it's good enough for me. Like, you can typically judge the value of something by the nature of who else wants it. And for Nick Saban to have wanted Austin Armstrong, a part of his staff, to be the inside linebackers coach, tells me something about Austin Armstrong. Now, there's still a small data size on Austin Armstrong as a defensive coordinator, but the fact that Nick Saban wanted him, I think that's a good thing, and I think that points in the right direction for Florida fans. Got some more thoughts on this as it pertains to Alabama, but if you have not yet subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel, we'd love to have you part of this program. The Hard Count is live twice a week. We do content on the Hard Count, though, every single day, talking college football. It don't take a break, so we don't either. Also, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JD Piquel to stay up with every single thing that we're doing here. Now, for Alabama fans, is it ever a good thing to lose a position coach a few weeks before spring football? Of course not. Is it detrimental to what they're going to accomplish in 2023? No. You're not losing a DC. You're not losing a head coach. You're not losing somebody who was overseeing the entire operation. But still, you lost a position coach. That's not great. You have some inexperience at inside linebacker, so you would like to shore that up sooner rather than later. But you're installing a new defense. Kevin Steele is going to have his hands on every position group. Like, it's not going to be something to where this just totally foils what you wanted to accomplish in 2023. Inconvenient? Absolutely. Deal killer for what you want to do? Definitely not. Also, the script A, Nick Saban, it attracts great talent, obviously, from a player standpoint. From a coach's standpoint, there are people banging down the front door of Nick Saban's home in Tuscaloosa saying, please, let me be your inside linebacker coach, because you know what that does? It jumpstarts your entire career. It is a meal ticket to eventually being what Austin Armstrong is now, to being a DC in the SEC or beyond. Now, Austin Armstrong never actually became the inside linebackers coach when it came to spring practice, but he was on the staff for all of 15 minutes and got what he wanted out of it. So you hear what I'm saying? Alabama's going to be fine. Not ideal, but they're going to be fine. And they're going to have, I would imagine, next to no problem finding another inside linebackers coach. They're going to be fielding calls. They're not going to be making the calls. They're going to be the ones answering the phone. And then from there, I'm sure they'll, sort of pick and choose who they would like to have be the inside linebackers coach at Alabama. So coaches is great. Having a great staff in place is awesome. Like I said, I think it's a good fit for Florida, and I don't think it's a deal killer for Alabama. But the differentiating factor for both these schools in 2023 on defense is going to be personnel. You hear the old coach speak, it's the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the Yo's, and that's cliche, but it's cliche for a reason because there's a lot of truth to it. Austin Armstrong, I don't doubt he can coach some ball. Otherwise, Nick Saban wouldn't want him as his inside linebackers coach. Otherwise, Billy Napier wouldn't want him as his DC with all the pressure on him in Gainesville. But what it's going to come down to, no matter how good that scheme is under Austin Armstrong, it's going to come down to, can you replace those 7 starters you're losing on defense? Do you have the personnel to execute what you want to execute on the field? That's the difference maker right there. Do we have enough talent to get it started? Do we have enough Jimmies and Joes to execute? That's what it comes down to. I don't think it's fair to have an absolute opinion on Austin Armstrong after the 2023 season, because you still don't know what you have personnel-wise. Even after this year, I don't know that you will be able to have a solid, definite opinion. Because what if you go out there and that personnel isn't up to par? It isn't up to what you need to get done in 2023. It isn't up to what you want when it comes to checking boxes. Okay, then we have a hard time judging Austin Armstrong. Now, what he's able to get out of that defense, you can maybe have a gauge for that, and you can use context to draw some sort of conclusion, but that conclusion has to be fluid, okay? There has to be some sort of give and take here with how we evaluate Austin Armstrong and the Florida defense in 2023. Now, for Alabama, yes, it's not good to lose Austin Armstrong like we had already talked about earlier in this segment, but what it's going to come down to for me is the way that they mesh on defense under a new DC in Kevin Steele. Because for Alabama, you can talk about experience or the lack thereof that they're going to have at different positions, but for the most part, personnel at Alabama will never be the reason why they don't succeed. Like, there's some crazy stat where I don't think they finished outside of the top 2 in terms of recruiting class rankings since before 2019. For a long time, they've recruited top 2, top classes in the country. So they're going to have guys to execute what they want to get done. Can they mesh defensively? Can Kevin Steele put that talent in position to succeed and coach them up accordingly? Because you got the guys. You got the 4 and 5 stars to get it done. Can you put them in position to succeed and equip them with the right scheme to play to their skill sets? Not something we saw a lot of last year, in my humble opinion. Hope we see more of that going forward. So Florida and Bama, I don't know that either of these are groundbreaking developments. Obviously, anytime you hire a DC at Florida, that's a big deal. But let's sort of withhold judgment on Austin Armstrong as a DC for just a little bit, see what they got personnel-wise. For Alabama, it's not ideal, but is it going to kill what you want to get done in 2023? I do not believe so. Alabama will be just fine. Florida lands their new DC. This has been The Hard Count. We appreciate you rocking with us. Nick, break, lift, and heavy, this is your show. Make sure you're subscribed. We're live twice a week. We got college football content, though, from The Hard Count every single day right here on the On3 YouTube channel. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.